Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, presented by the Business Courier. Green business equals big and growing business. We'll meet a local woman who is one of the leaders in the movement. A celebration of life-saving research at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. And are you having technical difficulties? A local startup wants to make the digital sound you hear clearer. U.S. Bank Business Watch is next. Good morning and welcome to U.S. Bank Business Watch. I'm Peg Rasconi. Pope Francis and the cover story this week have something in common. The Pope is calling for an ecological conversion in a sweeping new encyclical on the environment. Among other things, he calls for renewable fuel subsidies and energy efficiency. On the Business Courier front page centerpiece this week, the special People You Should Know section focuses on leaders in the fields of energy and green business. Through conversations with 20 local leaders in the field, the Business Courier discovered how energy is produced, used, and saved are key parts of the green equation. The development of alternative sources like solar is a huge part, but just as important is how quickly traditional energy companies incorporate these greener technologies and bring them to scale. That's happening in at least 3 ways: new beefed-up storage systems, smart grid technology, and creative alternatives. We couldn't have all 20 green energy leaders on the program, so we chose one to represent the group. Heather Curlis is president of Greener Stock, which bills itself as a greener, one-of-a-kind resource and design center, specializing in natural, non-toxic, and eco-friendly products for homes and businesses. The company offers services including architectural design, lead green consultation, salvage material sourcing, and water energy efficiency. For more on the business of being green, Heather joins Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith in the studio. Jamie and Heather.
Thanks, Peg. Heather, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations for being one of the 20 people to know in this industry.
Thank you.
Tell me what interested you in this industry? Why'd you go there?
Well, I originally became interested in green building when I was getting my master's degree out in Seattle, Washington, and that was during a time where everything was kind of new online. It was more about the technology, less about the materials. And then as I grew as an architect and started learning more, realized there were more materials available in the industry, yet here in Cincinnati they were not really available to a lot of the people who perhaps were looking for them. So in 2009, I developed the business model for Greener Stock, where we bring greener, more environmentally friendly materials to the marketplace here in Cincinnati.
To make it possible for you to be green.
Right.
Well, tell me some of the economic benefits of sustainability and going green. What are some of them that builders can use?
Right. Well, from our perspective, we focus mainly on interior finishes. Okay. We look for materials that are sourced fairly locally. The LEED green building system looks for things that are within 500 miles. Consider those as a regional product. So we have a number of hardwood flooring suppliers, tile suppliers, even countertop suppliers that are within that 500 miles that can meet that criteria. So, you know, we're reducing the embodied energy in those materials because they aren't having to be shipped from longer distances.
Any new technologies out there that that are really making it into the green building world, or the green business world, I should say?
Right. You know, one of the ones that is kind of close to home to me, because I recently visited the plant at Somerset Hardwood Flooring in Somerset, Kentucky, near Lake Cumberland. They are continuing to increase the efficiency of the amount of wood that they can use out of a log. Okay. So at this plant they have lasers that read the material as it comes through the line, and they can only take out the smallest pieces of bad parts of the wood as possible, so that then they can maximize the amount of yield.
So not a lot of waste
for flooring, but then everything else is used to either power the kilns that heat the kilns to dry the wood,
wow,
or they turn it into pellets that you can use in high efficiency furnaces.
Well, it's very interesting. I was very interested in reading the story. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll just keep watching the great things that you do.
Great, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Peg, back to you.
All right, thanks Jamie and Heather, and again you can read a lot more in the print edition. Well, a $205 million clinical sciences building is now open at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. The top floor of the 15-story tower will be named for the late astronaut Neil Armstrong and his wife Carol, who was a member of the hospital's board. Neil Armstrong died nearly 3 years ago, 2 months after construction began on the tower, which includes space for laboratories, research, imaging, offices, and a research-focused outpatient center for clinical trials. A mom whose daughter Isabella was treated at Children's from the age of 2 for an aggressive form of leukemia spoke at the dedication.
We are forever grateful to this institution, to every single person that has touched our lives in it. To see this building and to see the possibility for me, it literally changes what I consider a blueprint for our future. The future of medicine, the future of our community, the future of our world.
The building eventually will house more than 1,500 doctors, scientists, and support staff. Cincinnati Children's is the largest hospital in Greater Cincinnati with about 15,000 employees and an annual budget of nearly $2 billion. Garen Colvin was named CEO of St. Elizabeth Healthcare last week. Colvin has been interim CEO since the unexpected retirement of John Dubas in February. Colvin has worked for St. E's for 32 years and will oversee an annual budget of about $1 billion and more than 7,300 employees. The Edgewood-based system operates 4 St. Elizabeth hospitals and is sponsored by the Diocese of Covington. Coming up later in the program, Garen Colvin will join us here in the studio. The decision on how to operate the Cincinnati Streetcar appears to be headed to the Southwest Ohio Regional Transit Authority's board. City Council could not reach a decision on which operations approach to choose, so the decision has been handed over to SORTA.
Now SORTA, I think, will make the decision. I was hoping that the same people that operate the buses should operate the streetcar. I see them as essentially linked services. The council can't seem to make up its mind.
Cranley offered a last-minute proposal rejected by Council's Transportation Committee that called for creating a contingency fund that would have been reimbursed with surplus from the city's general fund. It was a significant move by Cranley, who has steadfastly refused to offer such funds for streetcar operations. A hotel developer plans to transform a former Procter & Gamble office building into a luxury hotel in the heart of downtown Cincinnati. Kessler Enterprise is known for its impressive and unique hotels and wants to turn this office building on 6th Street into a 125-room independent hotel called Grand Bohemian Hotel Cincinnati. Kessler expects to invest more than $40 million in the building. If all goes as planned, construction will start early next year and take about 15 months to complete. A startup in the Crossroads church-backed Ocean Accelerator has raised enough money to get its platform ready for launch this fall. The business is called Ringer, and its goal is to improve the audio quality of broadcasts. Ringer CEO Tim Sinclair moved to Cincinnati from Champaign, Illinois, to participate in the Ocean Accelerator.
Well, traditionally, broadcasters and podcasters have used the telephone to try to record conversations, and we all know what that sounds like. It sounds like you're on the moon or in a tin can or whatever. Ringer essentially allows you to connect on your mobile device, record the conversation, and when you get it back, it sounds literally like you're sitting in the same room.
Sounds like a broadcaster. Sinclair is an 18-year veteran broadcaster. He would not disclose how much he's raised in this current round, but said combined with an earlier round, it totals $800,000 in fundraising to date. Artwork Summer Program is taking to the streets of the Queen City once again to complete 10 giant art projects across the city. The 2015 edition of the program will employ 133 youth apprentices between the ages of 14 and 21, along with 45 professional artists. Some of the students are back for a second year.
I'm so proud of it just because it's something that I was able to come out and actually create something that other people can enjoy and see every day, and that's a huge deal to me.
Artworks will celebrate the completion of its 100th mural this year. It will be called the Cincinnati Cobra, honoring famed Cincinnati boxer Ezzard Charles. You'll find it at 15th and Republic Streets. You can see a slideshow of the new murals on the Business Courier website. Up next on U.S. Bank Business Watch, what's moving into the former drop-in center site in OTR. And unveiling of the new street art with an all-star game twist, the handlebar variety. Some news now that's getting a lot of attention on the Business Courier web and social media sites. Cincinnati Shakespeare Company plans to build a new theater here at the former drop-in center in Over the Rhine. The nonprofit organization is looking to make the move because it has outgrown its current space on Ray Street. Only one local company landed among the world's 100 most reputable firms in an annual ranking from the Reputation Institute. Procter & Gamble was number 63 on the global RepTrak 100 list. That's a drop from number 41 last year. The rankings are based on 15-minute consumer surveys about a company's ability to meet expectations in areas including products and services, innovation, and financial performance. P&G executive Mary Lynn Ferguson McHugh has joined the board of directors of one of the largest beer makers in the world. She is group president of Global Family Care for P&G and the newest member of Denver-based Molson Coors Brewing Company, whose brands include Blue Moon, Coors Light, Keystone Light, and Molson Canadian. Before returning to work in Cincinnati last year, Ferguson McHugh was named by Fortune magazine as one of the most powerful women in Europe. Carew Tower is joining the All-Star Game party with unique decorations from Major League Baseball and the Cincinnati Reds. The second tallest building in downtown Cincinnati will feature a 30-story tall image of an old-time baseball player projected onto the Vine Street side of the building from July 1st to July 15th. In addition, All-Star themed graphics will wrap around the exterior of the 40th floor. Work on the wrap is underway. And another unique all-star display is all about the stash. This is the first of 20 Cincinnati and baseball-inspired mustache statues that are being placed around the city. The idea was fueled by the iconic handlebar logo for this year's All-Star Game, as well as the history of the Reds franchise and the returning trend of facial hair for baseball players. On Thursday, the Business Courier held its 11th annual Fast 55 Awards luncheon, honoring the fastest-growing private companies in our 17-county region. The luncheon was packed with really smart people whose businesses are doing really well. You can find a full list of categories and winners online at bizjournals.com. U.S. Bank is a sponsor of the event, and in this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, we decided to ask some of these smart business leaders a question. Why is your company growing so fast? Here's what they had to say.
We're growing so fast because we're focusing on the industries that we are very good at. We've turned our attention towards clients that really fit within our wheelhouse, and clients have beat a path to our door because of that.
The major reason we've grown so fast is our ability to adapt and change and see how the world of technology has been evolving over the last 12 years. And because of that, we've been able to do things like work with the NKU cyber defense team, let's say 5 years ago, and see that security is going to be a huge thing coming up. And now that security has become a huge thing, we're already positioned in the marketplace to execute on that.
We're a freight brokerage company, and luckily in Cincinnati we have a huge freight brokerage, growth in Cincinnati just largely due to TQL, so we have a lot of experienced brokers, people who are growing and starting their own businesses, building off that knowledge. With that, we have a lot of agents that find our support system very helpful to their needs, which allows them to grow their business because it takes away a lot of their headache for handling any of the administrative functions that we do.
So we help companies who are doing business internationally execute their currency transactions. So the amount of international business has grown quite a bit. The number of companies who are doing business internationally has grown so much. We found a nice niche market, limited competition, we're able to help them lower their costs as well as reduce their risks and find better times in the market to execute their trades.
One of the biggest things is the people we have within our organization. We have great people that really take care of our customers and focus on the customer service aspect and making sure we're delivering what we promise to our customers.
Good information from talented business leaders, and congrats to all the honorees and winners. Well, still to come on U.S. Bank Business Watch, a conversation with the new CEO of St. Elizabeth Healthcare. You might call him Mr. Northern Kentucky. And congratulations to Bridget Hoffman, a partner at Taft, Stettinius & Hollister, another of our 40 under 40 honorees. In this morning's Business Insight, Garen Colvin is a Northern Kentucky guy through and through. He's a 1982 grad of Ludlow High School and a member of the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. He received a scholarship to play baseball at Thomas More College, where he earned a bachelor's degree in accounting and business. He has an MBA from Northern Kentucky University. Colvin joined St. Elizabeth Hospital in 1983 as a co-op student. Over the years, he has served as Vice President of Finance, CFO, COO, and interim CEO. And last week, he was named CEO of St. Elizabeth Healthcare, which is the largest employer in Northern Kentucky and the dominant medical provider there. He is with Business Courier reporter Barrett Brunsman in the studio. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Peg. Garen, you've been at St. Elizabeth for more than 30 years in various capacity, so you probably know more than a few of the 7,300 employees there. But just in case there are a couple you haven't crossed paths with, how would you describe your management style?
I think I try to lead by example, and in addition to that, I try to focus on relationship building and consensus building with my leadership team.
Great. St. E is the biggest medical provider in Northern Kentucky, has been for years, and yet some other hospital systems on the Cincinnati side are making some incursions. Both UC Health and Christ Hospital have invested millions of dollars recently to try to chip away a little bit. What will St. E do under your leadership in terms, would you consider expanding any service lines or new areas for facilities in Northern Kentucky to compete with these guys?
We're constantly reviewing service lines that make sense for us, but for the most part, we will maintain our commitment to quality and maintain our commitment to the patient experience. All decisions that will be made going forward will be made with the patient, our physicians, and our associates at the center. We also would like to make sure that the patient experience is one that would prevent our patient from wanting to choose another system. And I think our technology with the electronic medical record, Epic, we have MyChart. So we're approaching 60% of the patients within our physician organization, St. Elizabeth Physicians, are utilizing MyChart. That's well above the national average. So that gives the patient the ability to access test results same day. It gives the patients access to schedule appointments online and also to have electronic visits. We call them e-visits, so they can actually use that technology. So we're trying to provide access to our patients where they want to see that access.
Speaking of the types of things that you offer to patients, you have a history in sports. You're in the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. What sort of sports did you play in high school, and does St. Elizabeth have any connection to sports?
Coming from a small school, I had the luxury of playing all three, baseball, basketball, and football. And then later going to Thomas More, I concentrated on baseball. At St. Elizabeth, we've always had an emphasis on sports medicine. So we work with a lot of the local colleges and high schools, and we provide athletic training in cooperation with Commonwealth Orthopedic, who are the physicians in our Orthopedic Institute. The Orthopedic Institute is an institute that includes St. Elizabeth Physicians, St. Elizabeth Healthcare, and Commonwealth Orthopedic Physicians.
Before you became chief executive, you were chief financial officer at St. E. Seeing little things about finance, you're going to oversee a budget of $1 billion annually. Do you anticipate any cuts going forward?
No, I think we've done a great job at St. Elizabeth of being proactive, anticipating the changes that are coming in healthcare reform. As payment methodology changes, we'll have to adjust our expenses, but we've done a great job of managing our expenses to this point, and we don't anticipate any changes, definitely in 2015 or 16 as we prepare that budget.
Well, thanks, Garen. And finally, you've been CEO just about a week. Any reaction from the community?
I've been overwhelmed with the support from our community, our physicians, and our associates. It's quite impressive.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Peg.
All right, thanks, Barrett, and congratulations, Garen. And thank you for joining us this morning for U.S. Bank Business Watch. For more business news all week long, you can visit the Business Courier online and sign up for daily emails and follow on Twitter and Facebook. The address is CincinnatiBusinessCourier.com. And thoughts and prayers from all of us on the U.S. Bank Business Watch team go out to Officer Sonny Kim, the 27-year police veteran tragically killed in the line of duty last week. We join the community in offering support to his family and honoring his service. I'm Peg Rasconi. See you next week. Happy Father's Day.